Hello, everyone. So today I've got Joseph Anthony, who is a psychic and astrologer to the stars. And today he's going to talk. Hi, Joe. How are you doing?
Hello, Michelle.
Yeah.
Doing
Uh,
well.
Today, Joe is going to talk to us about the new moon of imagination. Is that correct?
Yes, it's very important. I've been doing these for quite a while. And each month I try and give people an idea of what's going on because every month we have a new moon and a full moon.
Yeah.
So they are cycles that begin and end,
Well, this is how
So,
I
and I've
found
tied
you.
it into,
Yeah,
well, thank you.
this is how I found you, Joe. That I've been following you for the last couple of years on your channel on YouTube. And I really like the way that you put together the intel that you're picking up psychically with the
Mhm,
astrology. And so
mhm.
this is why I thought my audience would really like to hear what you have to say. So I'm really glad that you've got something today about this new moon. And please just go ahead and present what you have.
Absolutely. Right now, astrology is very important. I want people to understand how important astrology is. It is about cycles and patterns because, we're constantly moving around this giant orange ball we call the sun. And so when we do that, we could track cycles and patterns. So every month when we have these new moons, there's a cycle that begins. So it's highlighting something. Okay, that's how it works in astrology. It's just symbolic language for understanding cycles and patterns. Then when we have the full moon, there's usually an ending or completion or an awareness that comes in. So I've been doing these for quite a while, and you'll see on my channel I've got tons of them. But because of the political theater, and I call it political
Mm.
theater because there's a lot of acting going on, I've decided the information that I was gathering and some of the information, the intel and the intuition was just so sharp that I had to tie it in together to show people how astrology follows the cycles and the trends and the patterns, and also the intuition and what's really going on. And so you do the same thing. And I have watched many of your videos, and you've been spot on with the election. You were spot on when you predicted the last election and how it was going to go. And so I've been seeing similar patterns. And so this month in March, and I talked about all of this on my videos. I do annual videos each year that people could find on my channel, josephpanthony.com on YouTube. And I put out an overview video. Usually it's a little bit longer, 45 minutes to an hour, and I describe some of the patterns and cycles that are appearing throughout the year and how I tie it into what I think is going to occur. So as I said at the beginning of this year, 2023 was going to be unlike 2022, and we're already seeing it. It was going to be a slow start, and then the energy was going to start to build and build and build. So now we're going into March. We're doing this interview at the end of February. We're going into March. Now we're going into the hot area. Okay, it's the area where all this energy is coming in, and you probably sense the energy too. And a lot of psychics and intuitives are feeling it. So March is a very important month because we have many planets. I mean, it's like 5 or 6 planets that are going to be switching signs, including Pluto. If you understand the symbolism behind Pluto, Pluto is the sign of death and rebirth. It's the sign of regeneration. It's the sign of transformation. And it's going to switch signs from Capricorn, which is all about structure, foundations, organizations, politics, corporations. Any entity that controls humanity is under the umbrella of Capricorn. And it's been working its magic. This is why a lot of these changes have occurred all over the world with the politics and the politicians. Pluto, when it enters a sign, it shows you the stuff that's going on, the dark stuff, the stuff that people don't want to see, and it begins to transform it. And so in Capricorn, since 2008, it's been revealing to us how corrupt the system is
Mm.
on every level. It's been showing us the power players. It's been showing us who needs to be removed, and so on, you see? And now that this month of March, Pluto is going to enter Aquarius for the first time in 240 years. Pluto in Aquarius is about humanity waking up. It's about seeing the world, as I said in the video, it's like we've been given X-ray glasses to see through things.
Yeah.
And that was one of the visions I saw, is that we're on the 23rd of March, the energy that's going to be coming in just feels like we're awakening, like the average person just becomes more aware of something.
Yeah.
And that energy is just a little tip of the iceberg in March for what kinds of changes are going to occur over the next several years. Because Pluto will retrograde, which means going back, in June. So it'll only stay in the sign of Aquarius for a short period of time, and then it goes back into Capricorn. So there's unfinished business politically, economically, the powers that shouldn't be, all of that stuff behind the scenes is continuing to be roto-rooted out, destroyed, taken apart. As you and I both know, it is actually happening.
Yeah.
Okay, even though we don't see it on mainstream, it is actually happening. It's already happened.
Yeah.
So we're seeing that continue in March. The month of March is so important spiritually as well, because Saturn, the planet that is associated with structure and foundation, is entering the sign of Pisces, which is the spirit, spirituality, mysticism. It's about imagination. It's about intuition. And when this sign enters, there is a resurgence of what's good, what's fair, what's honest. What do we need to manifest in a more spiritual manner? You're going to see a lot of people become more religious in the next couple of years because of that. You see, but the intuition will go through the roof. Those of us that are already psychic and are in tune are getting messages like it's nothing. They're just coming in out of nowhere. You see, because the vibration of the atmosphere has been supercharged with more photon light and particles. Now, this is a cycle that I discovered that occurs every 11 to 12,000 years. It's a natural cycle, but it also affects the Earth and the Earth's magnetic fields, and it affects us. And so we're being bombarded by this higher frequency, this energy that is giving us greater abilities.
Yeah.
Okay. So the month of March is really a leaping point. It's a takeoff, energy wise into this other realm of awareness. That's what's actually happening, Michelle.
So are you saying, Joe, that people that previously who we would have called the sleepers, they are going to be affected by this change in astrology and energy, where they themselves might just become awake because of the energies, irrespective of what they're being told by us? It could just kind of throw them into an awakening.
Yes, I am already seeing it. I spend a lot of time around people over here, and I'm seeing on the forums where people say, well, I never realized that, but now I realize it. Or where they're starting to see how, feeble, Joe Biden is, and the corruption, all linking back to the Middle East there. And so they're beginning to see it. It's like they're being slowly spoon-fed. And I do believe that the white hats are doing this on purpose. Slow spoon feeding the public through people like you, through people like me and others. They're slowly awakening the masses, because once you awaken the masses, there's no turning back. That's what's going to happen.
And you're based,
and unfortunately,
sorry, Joe, I was just going to say to the audience who don't know, you're actually based in the US, is that right?
Yes, I'm based in Sedona, Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, that's a hotbed of portals and energies and all sorts of things going on there.
Yes, it is.
So you're in a very high vibration region.
Yes, but I'm also now being called to hit the road and go on the road with my RV in order to reach out to more people. So most of this year I will be spending on the road in filming and videoing and interviewing and whatever else I do to get the information out,
and
to get the message across.
Do you have like a planned route? Have you announced this as a tour so people can perhaps we can put that in at the end to the video? If they want to meet you, then they could come and join you.
Absolutely. Well, one of the places I'm going to be, the first stop I'm going to make is on March the 13th, the week of March the 13th. I'm going to be in famous Roswell, New Mexico.
Okay.
where the crashes took place.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'm going to be there, and I'm going to post it on my social media platforms exactly where I'm going to be. I'm going to be in an RV park, and I could meet people outside the RV park, or if they want to get readings, I'll be available for readings there too. But that's going to be the beginning. And then I have a couple other trips planned, but they're personal trips that I have to take for family matters. But then I'm going to go back into Texas, and I'm gonna plan it all. It's not definitive yet. It's not, I go here and then do this, but I will be in Austin, Texas. Looks like it's going to be in April. So I will lock down the dates, and I will absolutely put it on the videos and so on. And so I'll try and give people a heads up, usually a few weeks to a month ahead, where I'm going to be. And I'm going to try and record everything. So, but it's just, and the call was so strong that it's time to wake up the masses. That's what you're doing. That's what I'm doing. And so many other wonderful people that are doing their best to wake up the masses.
This is interesting because I had a similar experience in 2018, 19, where I was teaching groups in my town, and I kept being told that you have to stop doing that now, and you have to go international by going on, on the computer and reaching more people. And I didn't actually know how I was going to do that because I have no technical skills, and I didn't really like the idea of having to be on a screen like we're doing now. It's still not my place of comfort, really. And then what I did was I was still teaching groups, but in the background, I was getting things ready to switch over. And then little did I know that I would be forced to do it, because obviously when the scamdemic came, everything that there was nobody to teach anyway, because we were all, obviously locked down. So now all the preparations I'd made, I could now put them into action, and I started to build my channel, as you know. So it's interesting that you're getting the same kind of calling as well, to now reach more people by going on the road. So when you work with people, if they come to see you, how much of your readings are from the astrology and the patterns, and how much of it would you say is coming through from your psychic ability? Would you say there's like a half and half, or does it change? How does that work?
I would say it's 50-50. What I actually do is, when I counsel a client, I get their birthday and information, because that's a snapshot in time of the energy that's influencing them. Okay. And I tell people it's not who you are, but the energy is heavily influencing you because of your birth and the position of the planets. And so once I have that, and I tune into the planet, I tune into the clients ahead of time, the planets are almost communicating to me as I look at the chart. I am literally almost remote viewing them. I can see and sense what they're going through. I could see from the chart when positions of planets are entering certain areas. I could tune into it. I get a feel. I'm writing down things. I'm taking notes. I am literally entering their vibrational field. And I'm able to understand what they're going through, what their main issues are, what they need to overcome. And so it's a combination of both, because I'm a big proponent of intuition. We are all intuitive. It's just a matter of to what degree. Okay. And if you understand the symbolism, and that's how the source communicates with us, it's through symbolism. If you understand the symbolism and the cycles, you begin to unlock the code, which is in geometry and mathematics and all kinds of imagery and sensations. So I'm tuning into people, basically. So it's a combination of both.
I get that, Joe, because I do soul readings, and I use angel cards, actually. But it could be any object. Really the object is just the focal point for you to be able to tune into the person. I could use this pen if I needed to work as the object to tune in. So I totally understand that, what you're saying about how you can kind of tune into people's frequency, and sometimes get a picture of where they're headed and how they're feeling. You can feel where they've got blocks and where they might have illness and trauma. And it's very interesting, actually, how when you're getting ready, before the person even comes on the screen, you already kind of know them. You already kind of sense how it's going to go.
Exactly.
So it sounds in that respect like we work in very similar ways, as do, as you said, most people that are intuitive and psychic. So how do you, this pattern of Pluto going into Aquarius, how do you think that's going to impact America between the time when you said it goes retrograde in June? What do you think we're going to see between March and June?
We're going to see several things that are going to happen. And I talked about this on some of these videos. So if people want to watch the new moon videos, the last few of them, I've been very specific because I have focused on the United States. The United States is going through what's called a Pluto return, meaning Pluto came back to the original position to when the United States was formed, which was in the 1700s, and Pluto was in the sign of Aquarius. Was it Aquarius or Capricorn? I don't remember. I don't have the chart open, but it's originally back to the original position. So when that happens, it comes back around, it energizes that situation or that person. And so this is why I've been focusing the last year or so on the United States and why the United States has been so important. And so with Pluto leaving Capricorn, I believe it's 27 degrees of Capricorn, and now going into Aquarius, the moon sign is in Aquarius for the United States. It's at 27 degrees of Aquarius. So it'll affect the United States somewhere down the line in a bigger way, I would say the next 10, 15 years. But once Pluto enters Aquarius in the United States' chart, humanity begins to awaken. And I mean that on every level. You're going to see, and I know, unfortunately, nobody wants to hear this, we're going to have pockets in cities of disruption, okay? Because the energy of Aquarius is very rebellious. It does not like to do things in the normal way. It likes to, no, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to be a rebel. I'm going to see it differently. And one of the examples of this is the entire gender situation that's going on, that's being forced down our consciousness, with different pronouns and people that think they're different genders. This is a perfect example of Aquarian energy, not wanting to fit in, don't feel like they fit in. And so they're adapting or adopting a different way of looking at the world. So to me, many astrologers just see this is normal Aquarian energy. And we've been heavily influenced by Aquarian energy the last couple of years with Jupiter and now Saturn. Saturn's about to leave Aquarius, but it's been in that position. So Aquarius and Uranus, one and the same, is going to enter the United States, and several things are going to take off. Technology is going to be one thing. And I talked about it in the last video, Michelle, where I said the vision I saw was Elon Musk is continuing Tesla's work. He has technology, but he cannot introduce it just yet.
No.
You see? And so it's going to be technology driven. I also saw the state of Texas being something of a great importance in the coming years. Elon is in Texas.
Yes.
There's going to be some form of resurgence of energy or new technologies that come out of Texas. And he's going to be leading the charge.
Very interesting that you're saying this. This ties in exactly with what I've been getting. Whether you love or hate Elon Musk is not really the point. The point is that he is the front person because he, in my opinion, is acting or working with the military. And because they can't come out and say, we've got all these technologies. So they put somebody like Musk at the front, who in the general arena, I think is quite well liked. And then they can bring the technologies in through his leadership. And back in, I think it was about December time, I did a lovely video with Derek Johnson and Michael Jacob. And I did actually say about Texas, how that had come up in my visions as well. So you and I are definitely on the same wavelength there, because I've always been getting drawn. And I don't know if you feel it is under the ground, but I always get a feeling that there's a lot of experiments going on under the ground that are about these new technologies, particularly to do with transportation, and they kept telling me that there was going to be like a very fast train network, and that under there sort of experimenting with it all. And the fact that he's also moving one of the headquarters, I think Twitter, down to Texas, and it all fits in with what you just said. So that's two of us that are getting that very, very strongly. And I do agree that the technology side, particularly with like the internet and the financial system, and I feel like it's all going to come together in one big singing and dancing sort of network. And it's probably something like we've never seen before, like a social network that's going to be everything.
Absolutely. Not to mention, remember, he's building Starlink with all those satellites around the planet.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
I want to ask you something, because the information that I got, that I tuned into, was that network is not just a technology network to communicate.
No.
It's also there to protect the atmosphere, because the magnetic field of the Earth is weakened. We know that through science. Okay. The magnetic field of the Earth has weakened, causing a lot of the changes to our weather, but it's letting in too much photon light. And that is also not good for the average person, because they feel like they're losing their minds. In other words, they're getting supercharged with more particles.
Too strong.
I sense that satellite, I mean, those satellites that he's putting up, the Starlink satellite, it's not just for the internet, it's not just for AI, it's not for just monitoring everything, because let's be real, we're not foolish. We know that there's an AI controlling everything, and that that there is a possibility that this information is going to be used against us or to control humanity. But I also got that it's also a protective layer around the Earth in case of solar events, in case of solar flares, and so on and so forth, that were bombarding the Earth. Because the last thing the White Hat, one second, Michelle, the last thing the White Hats want is for the power grid to go down, because that would cause so much chaos.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a protective mechanism to say, if God forbid we get a super wave that comes in and it hits the magnetic field, it'll at least slow it down or weaken it, so it doesn't come in and destroy our electronics. Does that make sense?
So this is, I mean, I haven't channeled about that actually, but now that you've put that to me, what I will do is I'll look into it actually, Joseph, and see what they say to me, because that makes perfect sense to me actually. I mean, I've always been told that Starlink is more than just the internet hub in our front room. That it's a whole military structure. Space Force and NASA and everybody are all involved with that network. Again, Elon Musk is the face of it, but all countries have had to make their part of the pie, if you like. So everybody, so in England, for instance, the part of the network is called OneWeb. But it all joins together to make the whole thing called Starlink. But I haven't actually asked it before about what you've just said about the possibility of it protecting us like a shield. But that does make perfect sense when you think about it.
Well, I did receive this message a few years ago because of the geoengineering that they're doing. Okay. And I literally sat out there and I tuned in and I said, show me what is going on with all of this spraying. Okay. And it came to me about 15, 20 minutes later about why they were doing this. Now, yes, there is the conspiracy side. They're putting aluminum and barium into the atmosphere. It's going down into the ground. It's destroying the crops, and we're ingesting it and all of that stuff. Yes, that is a side effect, but that's not why they're doing it. You see, they know that these waves of energy are going to continue to intensify over the period of time. Okay, because this is a natural cycle that's occurred before. And these waves have come in, like in the 1800s, I think it was 1859, and they have it recorded that there was such a massive solar flare that it literally took out all the telegraph towers. Okay, that's how powerful we're talking about with these cosmic flares. So the geoengineering was one of their ways to slow the waves coming in, because they're monitoring the atmosphere with the satellites and the spacecraft that they have to monitor when these waves are coming in. by using the geoengineering and the aluminum and the barium, again, they're trying to control it through their own, means, cell phone towers, radar, whatever, satellites, whatever it is. And they're triangulating or changing the atmosphere in order to slow the amount of photon light or radio waves or frequency coming through. That's the information that I got.
That is so interesting. So based on that concept that you've just put to us, which again, I'm going to look into this now because that's another interesting thing to look at. In your opinion, do you think that this storyline that we're all living at the moment is now currently under white hat control?
Absolutely. But you see, this is the thing. I also tuned into whoever these beings are. Okay. And again, comes to me very clearly at times. Sometimes it's foggy, it's not always perfect. And what I got is this group of people or beings or whatever they are is more concerned with the Earth's magnetic fields. They're more concerned with the Earth as a biosphere, as an important place that could sustain life. This is all they've ever done, is traveled around galaxies and dimensions, trying to discover places that could sustain life. And so they are monitoring the Earth, and they're concerned about some sort of energy coming in that would either destroy the planet or cause a lot of destruction. And why is this important? Because they are multidimensional beings. They're able to travel through time and space. Okay. And many of them don't live on this 3D world. They live in the 4D, the 5D, and so on and so forth. And so whatever happens here, it ripples out into these other realms. So God forbid this planet gets bombarded by radiation, or the magnetic fields change, and there's all kinds of volcanic activity, and our infrastructure and our technology here gets destroyed. It would cause so much chaos and negativity that it would filter out to these other realms of consciousness. You see, that's what I got. And so it's like, keep us in a neutral zone. We've got this. We're controlling this. We know what's going on. We're looking out for you, but we're not going to live your life for you. We're not going to save you, but we're going to protect the Earth. We're going to protect the way of life. That's what they're doing. They're not here as saviors. They're here to protect this from getting worse. That's what they're doing. And so they had to remove the dark ones. They had to talk to them and say, out. You can't be here anymore. This is too much energy here, and you've done your what you're supposed to do, controlling the masses and whatever else you've been doing. It's time for you to go. And some of them have gone kicking and screaming. Some of them are still here. But the message I got was very clear. The dark ones control very little. That's what it said. The dark ones control very little. Okay. So that's what's going on. That's what I feel is going on.
and it resonates perfectly with what I get consistently, that everything we see is a story, is optics, while they're getting, like you were saying, perhaps the military part of this operational and together and ready for all different things, as well, like the financial system and the way that we're going to communicate with each other, and the way that the economies are going to work, and international trade. There's so much to this, actually. There's so many layers to it. But I really like your idea that you've put to us today about the ultimate reason being that we needed to have this security blanket around us, if you like. And it makes perfect sense. And it's not something that I've actually thought about before. So I will look into that for you and let you know what comes back, because I think that's a very interesting thing to look at. Is there anything else you want to discuss about the Pluto moon, or did you finish that topic?
No, I could talk a little bit more about March, how important March is.
Yes, okay.
March begins really the new changes, the energy, the shift, if you will, in this time frame. Not only on March the 7th, we have Saturn going into Pisces. It's the same day as the full moon, as a matter of fact. So look for major events around the full moon coming up on the 7th, just in about a week or so. So there could be some more activity regarding earthquakes or anything related to health or food production. There's a very strong possibility of that. And so, but there's an awakening also that occurs simultaneously. So the beginning of April, excuse me, of March is a very important time to pay attention, because it's going to set the tone for the rest of the month. Now, as the month unfolds, and I took, I have my notes here, we have Venus entering Taurus, which is a lovely alignment, because it makes us feel more happier and more playful, and we get back to the basics. And so I'm seeing a lot of energy shifting. Now, this is going to be the main thrust of the month, is from the 19th, from March 19th on to the rest of the month, the energy just skyrockets, because now we're entering the spring equinox here in the Northern Hemisphere. But we're also getting ready to go into Aries, the sign of fire, the sign of initiating, the sign of action, the sign of the military. Very interesting. And at the same time this occurs, on the 20th, 21st, and 22nd, the new moon is activated in Aries. So there's a resurgence. There's a sense of something new is coming into form at this new moon on the 20th and 21st. So this is really a great time to set intentions, to start something new, to reinvent yourself, to physically look at yourself and say, what do I want to improve? But on a larger scale, this is where military interaction or more operations take place behind the scenes, and we may even hear more about it, okay? Because stuff is now slowly trickling out into the mainstream. And it has to, because that's how we're conditioning society to accept what's really going on. Because if we came out and said what we're saying right now, there are extraterrestrials and they're all over and they've been, monitoring it. People, the average person is just think, oh boy, they've lost their noodle, But it's real. It's been happening for thousands of years,
Exactly.
And so my point being is that the general population has to watch this show, and they situated it perfectly with this senile old man in the White House, with that other dingbat, and all of these people in Washington. They're showing people how corrupt the system is and how it's controlled, not just in the United States, but worldwide. They're showing us the corruption, and the American people unfortunately had to feel that pain, and so this is all being revealed. And so this month, it's very possible that the energy level drives people into more action, or making them feel more aggressive in a sense, wanting to take action. Let's remove some politicians. Let's, begin to impeach so and so forth. And that's what the Republicans seem to be doing in Washington here. Since the Republicans took over the House, they are investigating. They are suggesting impeachments. They are doing all kinds of things behind the scenes that they're being told what to do. Okay, and it's not a Republican-Democrat issue. It's more of the people in charge are forcing the hand of those in Washington. That's what they're doing. And we may see more of that.
In your when you look at the astrology for America, do you see that in the future you won't have a two-party system anymore? Because they keep explaining to me that whole structure is changing, and layers of bureaucracy are going to be gone, and maybe the Starlink system, this is the way they explain it to me, will talk to us individually in our homes. We'll just vote from our house, who we want to pick up the bins, who we want to build the roads. You and I will just vote from our quantum computer, and all that layers and that two-party system will go. What's your feeling about that?
Well, I've always known this for years. One of the best ways to control society is divide them. Just continue to divide them. Whatever, party lines, gender, whatever.
Black,
and
white.
they focus on and they focus on the young people, because they're easier to mold and manipulate, especially in colleges and so on, okay? So they throw out all kinds of things to manipulate them. In the future, that will all be gone. There will be an understanding of what's right, what's wrong. And I'm not talking religious. I'm talking about what needs to happen as a collective on this planet. And new technologies absolutely will be a major part of it. Political parties will not, it's either you're for liberty and freedom, or letting people be themselves, or you're against it. Okay, governments will be neutered in some way because humanity collectively, their consciousness is just going to be more aware, especially if we know exactly what's going on. And
Yeah.
so in the future, we will see, and I'm talking about the near future, a few years down the line. It won't happen like that overnight. It can't,
No.
because society can't take such a massive change all at once.
No.
It's not good on their psyche. And they can't, like, just like they can't introduce this new quantum financial system or the Nasara Jisara too quickly because it'll destroy economies around the world. So they have to slowly spoon feed all of this stuff in until people get to a certain level of awareness. That's what's
I
going to
agree.
happen.
I totally
So I
agree.
see it more in 2026, 2027, 2028. The new technologies will start rolling out and people will just start seeing politics as, okay, they were basically told what to do. This is how they ran things. This is how things worked back then. But we're going to quickly and move away from that old system of, government control. Federal government is the all be all, end all, So we're slowly going to be moving away from that. And there won't be a new world order, okay, like the WEF wants. That's going away too.
Yeah. In
Okay,
fact, I
that's
think
gone.
that's gone. Yeah, I think that's
Exactly.
actually gone. Yeah.
So
I
it'll
think
be
that's
more of
all a
a,
storyline. I think that's all
yeah,
just a storyline.
it'll be more of a collective. Like, are you for humanity? Are you for helping people, or are you not?
Yeah.
Are you here to keep people dependent on government and corporations and all that, or help them, get on their feet and understand things? That's going to be the Pluto and Aquarius energy. Now, is it going to be easy? No.
No.
I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, sugarcoat it. No, it's going to be a difficult process because many people have certain belief systems that they will not let go of. The old
No.
cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
And they'll go kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
Okay. But at some level, the beings, the white hats, the intelligence, they all know this. They know how to create in order to satisfy people's needs and how to make them feel better and not to scare the hell out of them.
Yeah.
So this is what I see coming. I did see a vision in 2008, 2009, that the year of 2024, the end of the year of 2024 into 2025, something has occurred that changed humanity's perception. Let's put it that way. Something significant happened that changed humanity. And so it's either going to be a cosmic wave of positive light that comes in, or there's a total restructuring of something that people become more aware. And they're not fighting, against each other anymore. They're just becoming more unified and saying, okay, this is what we have to do. This is what we're going to do. And this is the direction we're going in. And it could be a major announcement for all I know.
I actually
Wouldn't that be great?
when you were saying all of that, I loved all of that. What you were saying, that felt like that was what it would be. The second part, not the wave. I didn't feel like it was going to be a wave of devastation. I didn't
No.
coming from the sky. I didn't feel like it was anything like that. I feel like it's that second. I don't know exactly what it is, but when you're explaining your second thoughts, that people would be coming together because of something, that really resonated with me. So again, when I listen back to this video, it's going to give me a lot of points to try and channel, and it would be really interesting to see what comes up so that I can tell you what they said to me, because you've prompted a lot of really interesting ideas for me now. Because as you probably know, when you're trying to channel or put something together, you need to be clear on perhaps new ideas or how to put the whole concept together. It's no good just saying anything. You've got to have a structure. And so with you giving me these new pinpoints, if you like, I think we can add a bit more to what you've already got, which is very, very good, very important, and it resonates with me, 100%.
Wonderful. I appreciate that. Michelle, there was one other thing. The wave that I saw coming in wasn't devastating. It wasn't a negative wave.
No,
because
I don't feel
you'll
that.
notice that we get these waves of euphoria. We get these waves of euphoria, and I've been receiving them now for quite a number of years. There are days where the energy is off the charts, and I feel so euphoric. And it's being caused by this photon light that's coming in.
Yeah.
And so it's a wave that's actually going to come in that either changes us physically, in other words, activates some of the so-called junk DNA, or it gives us greater vision and awareness, just like the vision that I had.
Yeah.
Like we're going to have the glasses to see.
Yeah.
So I don't see this as a negative. I did not see a lot of negative in the next couple of years. Like
Well,
total devastation. By the way, I did make predictions in the video about some volcanic activity, which is going to happen this year. So keep an eye on that.
it's interesting.
Again, didn't see destruction.
It's interesting because in the past 2.5 years, when I've been channeling for my channel, they always give me the information in a way that's positive. They don't, even if we're having to go through difficult times, they're always putting a spin on it that there is a good outcome to this, and it is all under control, and it is all okay. So it's interesting that when I'm listening to you, that you're getting very well the same kind of impression. Now, the very last question, Joe, and it's a very important one. I am a cusp on the 19th of January. So when I listen to your videos, do I listen to Capricorn, or do I listen to Aquarius, or do I have to listen to both? Not that that's a problem, but where okay.
Both. Because you have the energy of both. Everyone that's born on a cusp, no matter what sign it is, they are capturing the energy of both signs because it's making a transition. So you listen to both and see which resonates with you. Okay. If you happen to know your rising sign, that helps out a lot. You know your rising sign?
No.
Is it Pisces or Virgo?
I've got it written somewhere. I do actually have a chart somewhere that somebody did ages ago. Actually, it might just be here. Hang on.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, now look at this. What would I need to show you? The chart at the front. Does that make it?
The planet that's on the first house cusp, it looks like it's in Capricorn.
Oh, okay. So
it looks like you have a Capricorn rising. You also have a very nice alignment of star alignments in that chart. When we're off air, you can give me your information, and I will go over it with you. Yes.
Okay.
The Capricorn rising too, if that's accurate.
Yes.
When I look it up on my program, I could tell, but it looks like you have a Capricorn rising as well. So the last few years there's been a lot of changes for you since 2008.
Oh, it's been, I can't even tell you how hard life has been, particularly last year. It was very, very difficult, but I do feel I've come through that now. But it's very interesting that you said I have to watch both aspects, the Capricorn and the Aquarius. So that would be the same for anybody on a cusp. Is that right? They would.
Well, you have a Capricorn rising, so the Capricorn is stronger in your chart.
Oh, I see. Right.
You see where the sun was and everything, but you have if that's accurate, you have a Capricorn rising, which lends more energy to the Capricorn side of things. You see? But I would still keep an eye on the Aquarius because it's so close to the next sign.
Okay.
So just listen to it, see what I have to say or somebody else has to say about the Aquarius energy. Okay, because it may spill over, there may be some influence there on that as well. But Capricorn for sure.
So just before you go, Joe, I wanted everyone to understand that Joe isn't actually homeless. It's just that he's packing at the moment, and that's why he's
yes, that's right. This is the last of it.
That's why he's got a room that looks a little bit sparse, because he's actually in the process of moving. And just before you leave, can you just remind us again, for people that don't know your work already, which I'm sure a lot of people do already, but where can they find you to book, say, a reading, or find this tour that you're on this year, and the RV and everything about you? Where should they look for you?
Well, my main websites, I have two of them. One is called planetswithin.com, and then the other one is my name, josephpanthony.com. And I am on social media, all the major ones: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I do have a Rumble account, I just don't use it as much. But and YouTube, of course. YouTube, you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel because I do post quite a few videos there, about 15 a month. But these are and you can all find those on my websites because they have all the social media links at the top. So if you go to planetswithin.com or josephpanthony.com, the media links are at the top. Then you could find me there. Subscribe to those channels. And so that's where you'll find the sessions, the consultation, all that stuff. I'm usually a couple of weeks out for readings. And I do, international, I have clients from all over the world. So, birth charts, reports, all of that stuff is up there. You just have to find it.
Yeah.
But those are the best ways of finding me.
That's amazing. So it's been so lovely to talk to you today. I hope we can do it again at some point.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Michelle.
And I'm going to go back and listen to all your insights, as I said, because that's given me lots of new angles to look at, particularly, as you said, with the protective structure. Made a lot of sense to me. It resonated perfectly when you said it. So it would be nice to see if I can get some information for you on that as well. So thank you so much, Joe. I know you've got another meeting to go to. And I hope that we're going to do this another meeting again at some point in the future. And
absolutely.
I love your work, and have a lovely move wherever you're going next.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Bye for now, Joe. Bye.
Bye.